So I'm here today with my first Sketchbox. I found this recently and was super excited to get a subscription. So opening the box, I found we have a paintbrush, but not just any paintbrush. Of course, a beautiful Princeton Neptune dagger brush, at least twice as expensive as the most expensive brush I've ever owned up to this point. The Pen Touch White Extra Fine, and a beautiful muted pink acrylic ink, which I've never used any kind of ink product before. So this is a very new experience for me. And then the last thing was a watercolor postcard sketch pad, which is what I use to do my work on. So I wouldn't even go so far as to call myself an amateur artist, but maybe an amateur artist wannabe. So this is the picture that came with the box, beautifully done. And I decided just to try and get an imitation of that. Try to get an imitation of that for my first attempt at creating something from a Sketchbox. So the only other things I added besides the materials that came in my Sketchbox were a pencil and a black Sharpie and some tap water. So this is my scratch pad, which is the first attempt at using any of the materials. And I'm really glad because that large white splotch in the middle is when the white ink pen exploded into a huge bubbly pile of white ink on the pad. And it only happened 2 other times, as you can see there and there. But that means it only happened once on my paper and was very small, which made me quite happy. So you can see also quite a bit of just experimenting with layering and the edges of the brush and the coverage of the brush and lines with the brush. Trying to see what I could do and how to do anything similar to the artist's piece. So after working on that for a little bit, I started with a pencil sketch of the artist's piece, just to get the general idea, and worked slowly and in many layers. Later I realized much more layering than was necessary and found some pretty awesome tricks with putting ink down and then soaking it back up with the brush a little dry, or soaking it back up with the brush with water. As you can see, I had some trouble with the fine lines with the brush, which the artist did not have the same trouble with. I did really enjoy the white ink pen, although I don't think I used it quite as effectively. Just adding some different details around the neck, but generally trying to keep with something very similar to what the artist did. And coming out with my finished piece, which is similar, but obviously not quite the same. But it was super fun, and as I said, being the very first time I've gotten a Sketchbox, I was super excited to dig into it, and I look forward to getting to try some different stuff with the ink and watching all the videos of the other artists who use the Sketchbox materials to find out, actually how to use the ink rather than smearing it on my paper and hoping for the best, and maybe some better skills around how to use it effectively and make some really cool looking art with it. That's about it, and Thanks for watching.